So let's get right into it. Have you had that moment recently? You know, the one where you log into your analytics, your stomach drops, and you just stare at the screen because your website's traffic has absolutely tanked? Well, if that's you, trust me, you are not alone. It is the question keeping so many creators and marketers up at night. One minute you're doing great, everything's humming along, and the next your traffic chart looks like it took a nosedive off a cliff. So what in the world is going on here? And look, we're not talking about small dips. Just to give you a sense of the scale of this thing, one case study of a site in the car buying space lost over 70% of its traffic. Poof, gone, almost overnight. This isn't just some minor tweak, it's a massive earthquake in the search world. All right, so let's name the culprit behind all this chaos. It's called Google's Helpful Content Update, or HCU for short, and it's just one piece of a much larger series of updates that are basically rewriting the entire SEO playbook. The most important thing to get your head around is that this probably isn't your fault. It's not one thing you did wrong. This is a system-wide overhaul. In fact, a lot of what used to be considered best practice for SEO is now the very thing that can get your site penalized. Kind of crazy, right? And that brings us to this really frustrating paradox. A lot of website owners who were doing everything right, following all the good SEO advice, they're the ones who got hit the hardest. So how is it possible that content you carefully crafted to be helpful is suddenly seen as, well, unhelpful by Google? To figure this out, you gotta look at how Google defines it. The helpful content system is all about rewarding content that gives visitors a satisfying, people-first experience. Now, those are the magic words right there. Satisfying and people first. It's a huge signal that they're trying to move away from content that feels like it was built just for a robot to read. But this is where the plot thickens. On one side, you have Google's goal, lift up amazing content that's made for people. But on the other side, you have the reality. A study of 50 different sites found that many of them that were, by all accounts, creating good, helpful stuff, still got totally crushed by the update. And the study itself put it perfectly. They said the updates might have had the unfortunate side effect of punishing the very content they were supposed to promote. What this tells us is that Google is now looking for a completely different set of signals to decide what's quality. And that new set of signals, it has a name. EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The big one here is that first E, for experience. Google isn't just asking, do you know about this topic? It's asking, have you actually done this thing? Do you have real first-hand experience? This isn't a nice to have anymore. It's the new standard. Okay, so the old rules are out, EEAT is in. So what do you actually do about it? How do you claw that traffic back? Well, the good news is people have figured it out. There's a playbook for recovery. When you look at the sites that have successfully bounced back, a clear three-step pattern emerges. First, you have to do a ruthless content audit. Be brutally honest. Second, you have to either delete or massively improve any page that doesn't meet this new high bar. And third, you have to go all in on boosting those EEAT signals across your entire website. And when I say ruthless, I am not kidding. Let's go back to that car buying site. A massive piece of their recovery strategy involved getting rid of or completely overhauling more than half of their content. This isn't about small edits. We're talking about major surgery. The team behind that amazing recovery said it best. Their main theory was that all those older, thinner articles, the ones written just to rank for some keyword, were acting like an anchor, dragging down the quality score of the entire site. To save the ship, they had to cut the anchor loose. But look, just recovering isn't the end goal, right? You don't want to just get back to where you were. You want to build a site that's basically immune to these kinds of updates in the future. And that means shifting your thinking from just reacting to proactively building for long-term growth. You know, one of the biggest and most powerful shifts you can make is to stop obsessing about constantly publishing new stuff. Instead, take a look at the gold mine you're already sitting on. Refreshing your existing articles can be one of the single best uses of your time, and the payoff can be absolutely massive. One site showed that just by going back and methodically updating their old posts, adding new info, making them clearer, they saw a 268% jump in clicks to those pages. I mean, come on, that is incredible growth from content they already had. Now, If you really want to build a moat around your business and become the undeniable authority in your space, there's another level to this game. You have to stop just reporting on what's happening and start becoming the source by doing your own original research. And listen, this doesn't mean you need a PhD and a research grant. Not at all. Original research could be as simple as running a survey in your industry, analyzing a unique set of data you have access to, or even just compiling expert quotes into a big roundup. This is the ultimate way to signal your EEAT. So let's bring it all home. When you boil it all down, what we're seeing is a deep, fundamental change in how we need to think about content. The days of writing for algorithms are pretty much over. The new game is about writing for humans, first, last, and always. The entire center of gravity has shifted. We're moving away from a world that was all about keywords, backlinks, and just pumping out tons of content. The new helpful focus is laser-targeted on user intent, real expertise, and bringing something original to the table. So if there is only one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this right here. The goal is no longer to just be an answer to someone's question. The goal is to be the most satisfying answer. Does your reader walk away feeling like, wow, that's exactly what I needed? That right there is the new gold standard. And that really just leaves one last question you have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest. Is the content you're creating a genuine, helpful answer for another human being, or is it just more noise in an already crowded internet? Because your future really does depend on that answer.